Good afternoon, everyone, and it's 12 o'clock. I'm all excited to go live with Faridun, a guy who needs no introduction. You'll have heard him take interviews of celebrities, talking films. Hi, Bharti Batija. Hello, Sam. And you have heard him reciting songs, nazams, and a lot more. But today, the tables have turned. Today, I am going to interview him, and he is going to be on the other side of the table answering questions. So, all set, let's send him an invite and get started. Hi, Jignesh. Hey, Sham. Hello.
How are you? How are you, Shweta?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, very well. Thank you.
So all said today, it's the other side. The actor is going to question you and you have to answer.
No, no, please go ahead. I'm looking forward.
So tell me, how's our lockdown going? We keep seeing you take all the interviews and everything. There's not much of a difference during all that you used to do always. But what is the slight difference between the lockdown and now, being caught up at home?
See, I think it's been a huge learning experience. So I've done a few Skype interviews in the past with the likes of Amir Khan, and so Amir was in Chicago shooting for Doom, so I'd done a Skype interview with him. Priyanka was in Toronto. So when I think Ganga Jal Part 2 came and she was there, so we had to do an interview. So, and then one more we did with Ali Zafar, so he was in Pakistan. But lockdown has given me an opportunity to experiment with the virtual world in a big way, and it has been a huge learning experience. I think we must have done close to 150 interviews now since the time lockdown started. And yeah, so there have been various platforms that we have discovered, be it Instagram and Zoom. And so Netflix, they have their own studio. Now Amazon, they have their own virtual studio, and Hotstar, they have their own virtual studio. So it's a huge learning experience in many ways. I started off by doing interviews on WhatsApp video calling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I started off with that. With the first one was with Anubhav Sinha. So we've done all sorts of things. So it's been a huge learning experience, and maybe we have been doing more videos now, more interviews now than what we were doing in
That's
regular
true.
time.
That's
So
true because
that
at
has,
that time it was limited to the release or, limiting it to other things because there were so many more things going on. Right now,
right.
comparatively, the past few months, everyone had more time to talk and all of that. So we've
So
been
that,
seeing,
that that thing is there at the same time. See, when you're doing physical interviews, you have to actually travel. You have
true.
to travel the distance and go from one hotel to another, or one house to another. Here you are doing it online, so you don't have to travel. So uh, there have been days when we have done, like, say, 3 4 interviews in a day. So it is in a way more productive, and now the quality is improving
Yeah, the
when we're
new
in
traffic
person.
jam
So
is when we say while the live interview, it is only when the internet is not working and we are like the server is low. So that's like the new traffic jam for our thing right
yes,
now.
yes, 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 yes.
So tell me, you come from a lineage where your parents were professors and words have always been a very important part. So when
Mm.
was it the first time you realized how important words are?
Oh, that's a very good question. So, I think since my childhood, since the very early stage, I think, because both my parents, apart from being professors, they are also writers, and
Yeah,
uh, we have the conversations were around the literature, and the language was naturally artistic. So I think since very early stage, I can't say what age, but very very early stage.
so, as a kid, we always hear a lot of tales and all. That's something every child enjoys. And
Right.
coming from the literature background, I'm sure, like you said, it was very artistic and all of it. Who was your favorite author as a kid, and what tales you enjoyed when you were a child?
Interesting. So So my childhood, there were multiple means of reading material. Like we had this Lot Port that used to come, Chacha Chaudhary, and so those are the comics which are there. And then my siblings, they were into Enid Blyton, and I graduated to Enid Blyton at a very early stage, like 10 years of age or 11. So Enid Blyton is something that I think was a huge influence on all of us. And so there are many series, as you must be aware of, like Famous Five and Secret Seven and Five
Yes.
Pound Outers, and so that was I think that was good fun. And you go on to Nancy Drew, and you go on to Hardy Boys, and so yeah,
So,
that's how you just
you know,
keep trying.
we were lucky back then. There were a lot of libraries, and we could go to bookstores and all. Right now, the library sections have gone like really small. You actually don't hear people going to libraries and all. So, what is your first memory of going to a library?
You know, uh, advantage of having siblings is that I think, in a way they prove to be a library as well, because so the books that my brother had, my sister had, and they were passed on to me because they were there in the house itself. And so that was the first library. Apart from that, in our colony, we used to have a few people, a few boys. They had their own library, and they used to give novels and comics on rent. So that's how it was. But I think, in my childhood, mostly it was exchanging from your friends and from people you knew, and then you giving it to them when you had it, or you buying it. So it was mostly like that. There were no big libraries happening over there at that point of time. And then in our school, there was a library where you can possibly get the reading material that you possibly wanted.
So, you had created your own book club back then without even realizing that you were having your own book
Yeah,
club.
it happened. It just happened organically, I think.
As kids, we always, especially when we see movies and all, we tend to idolize and have, like, we look up to celebrities and all of that. It's a very natural thing that keeps happening. And you are interviewing celebrities, and you've interviewed everyone, if I can think of. So, when was, like, when you started interviewing celebrities, which was your first fan moment? All right, we have paused
With
due
the
to poor
celebrities,
connection. So apparently, you're back.
uh, with a celebrity, I don't remember
Thank you,
exactly.
everyone, for joining in. Yeah.
Mm, it's very difficult to say because so
Uh,
okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. So when I was doing my journalism course, so I was doing my diploma from journalism from Times of India in Delhi, and I'd come to I had to come to Bombay for my internship so I was doing the internship with Sunday Times of India in Bombay. So Sanjay Majrekar had just announced his retirement, and I had to do a write up on him for Sunday Review for his retirement. So I went to this Khar Gymkhana where Sanjay Manjrekar, he told me that he'll meet me over there. So while I was waiting for Sanjay Manjrekar, I was having some tea or something, and I suddenly saw Sachin Tendulkar walking in. So he had just been batting, and he was just coming to change. He was wearing all the gear and the pads and the helmet and all that. So the moment I saw him, I was like, Sachin Tendulkar is right there in front of us. So I stopped him and I requested him that, can I speak to you about? So I did not get into the fan moment. I got into I asked him that, can you please speak to me about Sanjay Manjrekar? And so he said, he very nicely said that, let me just come back. So he went to the washroom, he came back, and he spoke to me. So I can say that was the first fan moment, Sachin Tendulkar.
okay, you have written for various publications, and obviously all of them have been top notch. What was the first feeling when your first article was published and you had the paper in your hand with your name and the entire article printed?
Okay, so I can say this was the article. Like Sanjay Manjrekar It was published in Sunday Review. So Sunday Review was a very prestigious supplement that used to come with the Times of India on Sundays, and it was a color supplement. So when I saw it, it was like a big article that came, and then after that there was an article of Khayyam Saab, the music composer. So yeah, it was a great moment. It was a great feeling, of course.
So, a writer is an expressionist. He has a point of view. What does expression mean for you?
I think expression means different things in different contexts. For example, if you're talking about expression in journalism, for example, so I'm basically a trained print journalist. I happen to be doing video interviews. It just happened around 14 years back. So when you are expressing yourself in, say, for example, in an article, so you have to try to be as objective as possible. If you're writing a news piece, for example, like which is event based, then you have to try to be as factually correct as possible and avoid giving any opinions. If you're giving and like if you're reviewing something, you have to give an opinion, then the expression, I think, should be more about the information as to what, for example, if you're reviewing a film, for example, it should be more about what you felt about the film, the various aspects of it, the good, the bad, or like what is it that is worth watching out for, the performances and all that. It is not really about how flowery your language can be. Your language can be flowery, can be nice, but that should not be distraction from what you're trying to say factually. And expression, when it comes to, say, for example, writing poetry, then obviously it is all about expressing the way you want to express. But even poetry, for example, it has to have logic. It has to have a context in whatever you're saying. It may be very abstract, but still it has to have some logic. It has art. Art, I think, has its own logic, its own science to it. So yeah, that's about it.
You watch movies, you talk about it. So when you're watching, are you just enjoying it or automatically making mental notes because you have to talk about it later?
I'll tell you something honestly. I don't. People tend to like my opinions on movies. They tend to follow it as well. But I always tell them that, see, I don't take myself seriously as a critic. Because my first priority is taking interviews, because that's something that I really enjoy. That is my bread and butter, and that's something that I really enjoy. Because the moment you start getting into the critic mode, then obviously you cannot develop the same kind of relationship the way you would want for interviews, because obviously some people may not like what you write, and so I really don't take myself too seriously as a critic. So for me, I love watching movies. I absolutely love watching movies or anything that is really exciting. And when I'm in a movie theater, it's like even now. So obviously now it's a lockdown, but even now, if there is a movie that I'm really looking forward to, I'm so excited in the morning when I have to go first thing in the morning to watch a show or watch a film. I'm still very, very excited. It's like a childlike excitement that I don't want to miss anything. But I'm not making notes and all that. I don't, if there is something that you like, it will stay in the mind. And I think that is the best way that you can just mention, this is what I like. That's about it.
Like you said, you were a trained journalist. It was all about writing, and then vlogging just started. So what do you prefer more, vlogging or writing?
Vlogging as in like the video interviews?
Yeah, the video interviews.
Okay. There's no preference. There is. I like writing as well. I think writing news stories is. I think it comes very naturally to me, and I think I'm very very quick in that. Other people can take a lot of time. I can just write it on my mobile phone and send it. I've done it. I tend to do it with my team and all that. So I can do it very quickly because I have a lot of experience in that. And video, I think video interviews, it's a very tough job because you're constantly improving. You have to keep on improving. You have to be uh, very careful, because with my experience, I've realized that there are moments when people start watching your interviews in big numbers, everything is noticed. And these days, you don't know what may trigger a controversy. And there have been occasions when even like an expression, when even like a hint of a smile can really boomerang. It can really why you're smiling. Like it can be. It's a very, we are
True.
in a very highly judgmental times. It's like, so you have to be very cautious of almost everything, that how you are feeling, how you must be looking like. You have to be very, very attentive. You have to be very careful with your words, that you're not messing up in terms of English, maybe, or maybe you're not using a wrong word, maybe, which may not be appropriate, which people may consider as inappropriate. So, video interviews is a very tough job. It's not easy. And then when we are doing, like, say, sit down interviews, we have timelines, we have deadlines, because when they are doing multiple interviews, and celebrities are doing multiple interviews, so we are given a certain amount of time frame that we have to finish the interview. And since we need the content, and we do these rapid fires and quizzes, so we need some time, and we those are the videos that people watch in maximum numbers. So video interviews are tough.
So,
It's not easy.
like you said, that in today's time, we are actually in the judgmental time because, there are a lot of places where everyone has a right to put their opinions, be it Twitter, be it Insta, or many more places as such. So the word freedom of speech has suddenly a different meaning to it. What is your
Right.
take on it?
No, see, I'm all for freedom of speech. I think that जिसको जो करना है, I think करना चाहिए. That's not a problem. But I don't know. There should be, ideally, there should be some sort of regulation in terms of, there have to be certain. But it's so subjective, that how do you regulate something like this? Like, for example, in this entire scenario of Sushant's unfortunate and very sad demise, and the way things have been after that, that the way the pictures were flashed on the news channels, and carried by certain newspapers, and posted by certain people. So now that is something which is very, very unethical. That is something which is not merely unethical. It really hurt a lot of people. I still get messages from so many people who are still under a state of shock by what happened with Sushant. And then there are so many of these YouTube channels which are like, you've never heard the name of the YouTube channel, and they are posting all sorts of analysis and all sorts of accusations that they're coming up without having any verified sort of information around it. So it's very scary that anyone can just get up and say almost anything without any proof,
True.
and without any, and then this entire creating this frenzy, that this frenzy of anger. So it is scary. So I don't know. I really don't know how to really express it, but I'm totally for freedom of expression in every sense of the word. But
So, like you said, there has to be rules and regulations, but this is something one can only self-discipline and realize that, they're going overboard or they are hurting feelings while expressing stuff. But we've been a part of a time like, the 90s where it was all about cassettes and all, and today in the millennial world, it is all about OTT and all of it. So, what is your take? You've been a part of both and you've been growing with both the fields. So, how have you welcomed OTT? And how much do you miss the DVDs?
no, I don't miss the DVDs at all. See, I genuinely believe that you should always try and stay relevant with the times. You should always. You may not totally like it. You may not have, but you should adapt. You must adapt. I really don't have much respect for people who tend to say कि हमारे ज़माने में ऐसा होता था, हमारे ज़माने में वो ऐसा होता था, and अभी तो ये अभी तो ये वो वाली बात नहीं रही जो पहले वाली बात थी. That is something which is not cool. जो भी आज के, I think, अगर जो भी technologies हैं, जो भी अगर नई नई चीजें हो रही हैं, they are right. they should be taken in the right spirit. We should adapt according to them. So there is nothing that I miss about the cassettes and even the audio cassettes, the record player and the cassette player and the CD player and the DVD. There are fond memories of those as well, of course. But I think it's so convenient right now. On your mobile phone, you have so many options, so many OTT platforms, and you can watch so much content, be it movies, be it documentaries, be it web series. It is simply amazing.
So, you write and you express in different forms, poems, articles, interviews. Which is your favorite form of writing? Like, what do you enjoy the most?
But to be honest, so I've always liked poetry. I used to write a lot during my teenage, and I think that was a very beautiful phase of my life because I used to read a lot and I used to write a lot, and I was getting published in India and US and UK, and, even in my teenage. But then once you get into your professional space, then you realize that poetry doesn't sell, and then you get into the rut of life, and how to just settle down and things like that. But in the last couple of years, I've really started discovering poetry, and especially Urdu poetry. Earlier I was into English poetry mostly, but I've started discovering Urdu poetry in a big way, and that has been an amazing experience. And especially in the lockdown, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me has been that I've read a lot of Urdu poetry, all sorts of Urdu poets, be it Ghalib, be it Mir Taqi Mir, be it Iqbal, be it Ahmad Faraz, be it Bashir Badr or Wasim Barelvi, or John Elia or Salim Ahmad, or all sorts of them. And then off late, what I've been doing is that I've been watching a lot of these discussions on Urdu poetry from some of the stalwarts. Like there's this very fine critic. His name is Shamsur Rahman Farooqi, and he's considered he's considered the biggest writer in India, the biggest novel writer in India right now. You can Google him, and you can see his videos if you want to, and he's a poet as well.
You just read my mind. I was all set to Google these names and learn.
You should. I'll send you some videos. If you like literature, you'll love the thoughts.
I love literature and I love to learn.
No, I'll send you some. I'll send you the links. So he has these amazing thoughts on what poetry is all about, the level of objectivity which is there in which has to be there in poetry, and we consider that it's all about flowery language and romance and this and that, but poetry is so much more. It is so clinical. It can be very clinical, and the poet basically doesn't have any sentiments. He wants to ignite sentiments in people, but he should not be having any sentiments. It's a very complex thing, but if you listen to his thoughts, I think it's amazing. So so that has been, I think, one of the most fascinating experiences. So I just put my mobile on, and so he's talking, and I'm just listening to his thoughts again and again. Then there is another very giant of critic. His name is Gopi Chand Narang. You should try and Google him as well. So
I'm waiting for the links, and then post that. I'm going to keep Googling.
I'll send that. So now Narang Sahab, so there is this wonderful session that he did at Jashn-e-Rekhta on Amir Khusro. So now Amir Khusro, he's the one who created Urdu and Hindi. He created sitar, the instrument. Okay. He created tabla. So he's like a master of Indian classical music and Indian languages. He wrote, I think, around 4 lakh couplets or something like that.
Wow.
Of which 3 lakh are not to be traced, but 1 lakh are still around. So, and Ghalib has around 10,000 ghazals, 10,000 something. So just imagine the level of, the amount of stuff that Amir Khusro must have written. So yeah, so I'm discovering it's a fabulous world. to be honest.
Thank you so much for sharing these lists with us because I'm lucky enough to get the links, but everyone here is loving the classics that you've mentioned and they would love to Google. But
No, no,
they all
absolutely.
have been requesting if you could recite a poem for us, anything that you've written lately.
So I'll just um, couple of maybe couplets I'll mention. So one is that मसलहतन चुप हूँ खामोश नहीं हूँ मैं. Maslehatan is strategically or maybe due to some reason. Maslehatan chup hoon, khamosh nahi hoon main. And there's one more that आओ कुछ मुख्तलिफ करते हैं. मुख्तलिफ is different. आओ कुछ मुख्तलिफ करते हैं. चलो सूरज से दोस्ती करते हैं.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay, so you also have been singing. You sang a couple of songs. How did the interest in singing happen, and how did you
yeah,
get yourself to train?
so singing is a I think is a hobby that I have, and music has always been I think a very important hobby. And so I've been singing since childhood, and I used to sing in competitions in school. And then I started learning classical music when I was in my graduation. So I learned Indian classical music from Agra Troli Gharana, and I represented my university in classical music at the inter-university festivals. Once in Ludhiana, once in Amritsar. So that's how the music fascination started, and we've been recording a few songs in the last few years, and they're available on Artist Aloud and a few on my YouTube channel. So I've been doing a few covers as well. So a few of the stars they request me that can you do a cover, so I go ahead and do it. So it's a hobby. It's just a hobby.
Can we request you to sing at least 2 lines for us if you're okay with it?
Yeah, sure. Sure, I can do that. यारों दोस्ती बड़ी ही हसीन है, ये ना हो तो क्या फिर, बोलो क्या जिंदगी है, कोई तो हो राज़दार, बेगरज तेरा हो यार, कोई तो हो राज़दार.
Thank you so much. That was really sweet of you and a lovely song from back then. Okay, so if you had to be reborn in a decade, which decade would that be?
2020 to 2030.
And if you had to recite a nazam for a Mughal emperor, which one would that be?
Okay, so there's this couplet that गिरते हैं शहसवार ही मैदान जंग में, गिरते हैं शहसवार ही मैदान जंग में, वो तिफली क्या जो घुटनों के बल चले.
Okay. मैंने आपको क्वेश्चन भेजा तो नहीं था ना, इतना क्विक आंसर आ गया आपके पास.
Actually, this is Shah Rukh Khan's favorite couplet actually.
Okay.
This is Shah Rukh Khan decides this often. So basically, it means that the brave, they tend to fall in the line of war, but they don't crawl. They have to get up and move on. So even if you are defeated, even if you lose sometimes, you still have to be a man enough and get up and go on.
What movie you wish your life was?
I've never thought of, I don't take myself too seriously. There have been times when people, they tend to tell me that you should direct a film because you can talk about films in such a detail, but I have no such interest. So, and I don't take myself too seriously like that they should be like, they can be a movie or something like that. Honestly, I don't.
Okay, what app do you use the most on your phone?
WhatsApp,
After WhatsApp?
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay, if you had to go back in a historical era, which era would that be?
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm really fascinated by the 1930s, especially I think in Europe. Uh, the entire phase when Hitler was building up his entire dominance, and people just did not really fathom the level of destruction that his ambition can cause. So, how Europe must have been at that point of time, I would have loved to discover that.
Any historical movie which is your favorite?
I saw 1917 recently. I thought it was very nice. Mughal Azam, I think everyone likes, and yeah, quite a few of them. A few of them. 1917 is a recent one that I saw that I really liked, so I could say like that.
Um, Lately, what are the books you're reading and are really enjoying reading them and would suggest to people?
So as I told you, I'm reading a lot of Urdu poetry primarily, and I have a few books on my Kindle that I tend to, but it's mostly poetry that I'm reading right now.
Okay,
All
so
sorts of.
now, like you said, you all used to have a rapid fire and all, so we also have a little quick rapid fire kind of a thing for you.
Sure.
What is blue? You write with blue pen or black pen?
Any of them. I'm not like I don't write much with pens anymore. It's
Okay,
like
it's
mostly
all like
for
back to tabs and all.
signatures. Yeah, signatures. Yeah.
Okay, book or ebook?
Book,
Blurb or the cover?
cover,
Okay, and then movies, comedy or thriller?
comedy.
Favorite comedy movie right now?
जाने भी दो यारो.
Okay, when in theater, popcorn or samosa?
Neither. I'm very health conscious. I won't have either. I would rather carry my own stuff, like a fruit or something, like an apple or something.
Okay, watching in theaters or at home?
Theater any day, any day.
First show, last show?
Depends. If you are going with family to last show, if I'm watching it alone, and then first show. Like if the movie is new, so first show.
Okay, romance or action?
Uh, Romance.
Favorite romantic movie?
Favorite romantic movie can be Dila Ki Bantani. Maybe I thought it was beautifully made, even though it was a remake. But Dila Ki Bantani. That's what coming to my mind.
Disney? It's okay. We just want to know what's on the mind right now.
Right.
Disney or Marvel?
Marvel.
Favorite Marvel character?
I think there are many. I can't pick one. You suggest.
Okay,
suggest
name a
one.
few. Name a few. We are okay with the ones that are coming to your mind right now.
I really can't pick one. Which is yours? Let me ask you. Which is yours?
I'm a Disney person.
But which is your favorite Marvel character?
Actually, even I can't think suddenly of a Marvel character that I would be like, okay, because I land up watching Marvel movies only because of my nephew. Like, it's he
Right.
who drags me. But right now, you were saying Marvel, but only Disney is playing on my mind.
So which is your favorite Disney character?
Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck.
Okay. I don't know. They're amazing as well.
Okay,
Yeah, amazing.
rewatch or new releases?
New releases. I'm not like a very rewatch person. I don't watch movies. I do watch second time. I do watch Quite a few of them, but only if they are like really good.
Anything on top of mind right now for rewatch?
That one can watch once again. I've seen this movie Akoni on Netflix yesterday. That stars
Yeah, we did see your
Sheoni.
tweet.
Sheoni. So I think it was outstanding, and there are movies that can be discovered in a different light altogether the second time around. So I wouldn't mind watching it again. It's really nice.
Musical or science fiction?
I am not into I'm not a science fiction person. I'm a musical any day.
Since you are in the poetic theme, which musical is on top of mind right now?
Which musical? I think Mughal-e-Azam. I think it is a musical in a way as well. So I think maybe Mughal-e-Azam
Yes,
or Sound of Music or
you're
something like
right.
that.
Yeah, Sound of Music is really my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that movie. Company or on your own?
See, I'm absolutely fine with being on my own. I'm not someone who really cannot move out without someone else. Or so I prefer watching movies alone. I enjoy it more when I watch it on my own. So I'm absolutely fine being on my own. No problem.
Animation or horror?
I don't like horror at all. So animation. I
Favorite
don't like horror.
animation movie?
There are many actually. All of them are good. I think I would say all of them are good.
Movie marathon or just one click?
Movie marathon, as in like watching movies, binge
Back to
watching
back,
movies.
yeah. Binge watching.
I can do that. I can do that. I've done it. Like say when there are say 2-3 films releasing in a day. So I've done it even for press shows. We watch one film and then we go to the other. So I can watch 3-4 movies in a day as well. No problem with that. So I love
Okay.
watching films. For me, it is not tiring at all. As long as if they're good, more and even reasonably good. I'll be fine if a movie is like reasonably good as well. I'm not like uh, very critical. So I'm willing to pardon a few of the shortcomings. That's okay.
If you have to describe yourself in 5 words,
5 words. Simple, um, diligent, hopefully funny, um, persistent, um, and positive.
totally agree with the 5 words that you've said from all that I've spoken to you and have been connected with you.
Thank you.
So, just before we leave, if you had to invent one word, what would it be?
Invent one word.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Pande stupidity. Basically, I feel that stupidity is a pandemic in itself. So maybe that. Yeah, I strongly believe it. I strongly believe in that. It baffles me that how stupid people can be.
So, if you could repeat that one word for all the people again, because they all have been
It's
loving
like
the new word.
Pande stupidity, like PANDE STUPIDITY. Pande stupidity.
Perfect. So, thank you so much, Faridun, for joining us live. It
Thank you very
was
much. Thank you.
great. And if anything, you want to tell all the viewers because they've loved everything. And thank you for being on the other side of the table.
No, thank you very much, and it was wonderful talking to you as well. And so I saw your short film yesterday. I think Spotless. It was really nice, and it's
Thank
really an
you.
honor to be speaking to you. And I really admire your positivity as well. And all the best and keep it up. Yeah, and I can only say that It's a tough time for I think all of us. Like, but I think we should stay positive. We should stay positive and try and learn new things, because that can be a very productive way of handling this situation where we can't control anything, where we don't have any control of. And take care, work on your immunity, happy, because staying happy is a great way to develop immunity. No matter what, stay positive and laugh a lot. Stay around people who are happy as well, and who tend to emit positivity and not just emitting negativity of any sort. And eat well, sleep well, and be good.
Thank you for these lovely positive words and see you soon.
Thank you very much. See you soon as well. All the best.